Hello, everyone. This is Micklewright once again, and I'm here to bring you the third installment of the value of daily Kaizen in a pandemic world. So, in this episode, I'm going to be speaking about primarily the content of daily Kaizen meetings and why that is even so much more important today than ever before because of the pandemic world that we live in. Now, typically, when we start off an engagement with an organization and we're focused in on daily Kaizen, they don't have any visual management, and so we typically start off with suggesting to them they start off with three main sections, and that's the people section of the daily Kaizen board, the KPI or the performance section, and then the continuous improvement section. So we'll talk about each one of them independently. So first, the people section. Wow, in a pandemic world, we all know the stress, the added stress, the changes in job functions, the increased or decreased production demands, whether you're in an office or in a manufacturing environment. So many things have changed, and it's changed us personally. And then many of us working at home all the time. You have the added stressors of dealing with family life and mixed in with a work life. So in the Kaizen world, we say that it's very important to make all problems visible. So there's problems that can occur, of course, because of these added stressors. So how do we show that? How do we visibly show that? And we would show that in the people section. So many organizations have a section called a variety of different things. It could be the mood section, it could be the capacity section, it could be the stress level section, it could be the workload section. But it's some kind of indication of whether or not there might be some issues that I can't get my work done today because of one stressor or the other stressor. And so somehow we need to see that. We should see, the team should see that so that we can work together to make up for any capacity concerns that we have due to whatever reason. And so we need to make that visible, and we want to include that in the people section. This is so important today in the pandemic world. Now, other things, of course, that we can include in the people section, there's many things, but your skills assessment. This is perhaps an opportunity to upgrade skills, and so we want to visibly see what everyone's skills are within the team and where they stand with regard to those skills, what level they're at, and any needs that the team itself might have because we don't have enough people perhaps skilled in certain processes or certain tasks. So that's another part. Attendance. Some organizations like to show attendance, and the need for that, especially if that becomes an issue or problem. Work plan. What is the work plan for each individual? And again, this can become very important because in the pandemic world, because work has changed, processes have changed. Some people might have increased workloads, and some people might actually have less. And so, how do we balance that out? And so we want to see that on the people section of Daily Kaizen. So those are some of the things that we would want to include, and the importance of having this, Daily Kaizen as a whole, but the people section in particular during the COVID world, the pandemic world. Now the middle section is the performance section or the KPI section. Again, with all the disruptions and processes that we have because of a change in work venues and so on and so forth, KPIs or our performance as a whole can suffer. And in addition to that, in some businesses, there's increased workload or increased production demand. And so we need to see that. It's just as important now as ever because of the changes that have occurred. So we want to see, how are we doing with regard to quality or throughput or output or productivity or cost or workplace organization, whatever those things might be. So we need to see that, and we want to see results very visibly, very clear. The results should pop so that when we see the results on a whiteboard or on an electronic whiteboard, if you will, we see that where our problems are immediately so we can react to those problems and react to those conditions almost immediately. So we still need that, and we need it now more than ever because of the disruption in performance potentially. So the third section is continuous improvement. And of course, there's different forms of continuous improvement. You could have formats, because you could have big projects that are going on in which you might use um, uh, a 8D or an A3 document, or you might have more simple forms like a 4C or 3C, but all of them, regardless, is using the PDCA format, the plan, do, check format, or philosophy, if you will. And why? Well, because again, the KPIs and the people issues that we have, we've highlighted issues or problems or potential problems. And so now we got to do something about it. That's the whole purpose of Daily Kaizen, is to take action and to sustain our business the way it is right now and to make incremental improvements moving forward. So we need that continuous improvement section, again, now more than ever, because of the new problems and the new issues that have been created in the pandemic world, with people working in different locations and change processes and all of that. So it becomes critical that the content of Daily Kaizen boards and meetings are scrutinized and looked at very carefully to see if they need to change or be modified in this pandemic world.